One of the best parts about OBS Studio is the fact that it's open source. It being open source means that there are tons of plugins that you can utilize that can really spice up not only your streams, but your recordings, and they can make things a little bit more simple or streamlined for when you are streaming, and it can really, help make your life easier. Hey, what's up everybody? Dmitry Gaming here, and today we're going to be going over 10 OBS plugins that I use to either spice up my stream, to make things a little bit more streamlined, or to just use OBS in a different capacity than it normally would be able to be used for. As always, if you have any questions about today's video, I stream on Twitch from Friday until Tuesday. Come check me out, come say hello, and you're more than welcome to ask any questions in the chat. I'll leave a link in the video description below. Alright, so first up is a plugin called Tuna. This one's really great if you want to show the album art or the song titles of music you're either playing on your VLC player, your Spotify, or your Windows Media Player on your stream. Really great, really easy tool to use, and I'm going to quickly show you guys how to set it up and how to use it. Alright, so super simple. Once you go ahead and download it from the link in the video description below, you're going to go and you're going to go to Tools, you're going to go to Tuna Settings, and you're going to set it up with whatever song source you have. So right now mine is with Spotify. So make sure you choose the song source you want. And if you're going to use Spotify, you're going to have to go here and you're going to have to open a login page. It's going to have you log into your Spotify. Then you're going to grab the authentication code. You're going to paste it here, request the token, and then once it does so, it'll say that it's logged in and you're good to go. Come back to the Basics tab, make sure that you have try downloading cover if you want your album cover to be there. Change the format if you want. The default format's pretty good. It's just song title artist and then song title. Pretty simple, pretty easy to use. And then make sure that you go and you click start and make sure it says Tuna is running. Once you do that, if you go ahead and play a song on Spotify, you'll get the album art and the text. And the way you do that is you just go ahead and you add an image. So you right click, add, and then you go to image. And what you're going to do is you're going to choose the location that Tuna is saving the album cover to, which you select in the Tuna screen. Same thing with the text. You're going to go to right click, add, and then you're going to go do text, and you're going to go and select the text file location that Tuna is writing to in the same Tuna settings menu. You can go ahead and play around with all these settings and you'll get it like this. So our second plugin is actually really good when used with Tuna, and it is called Spectralizer. And what it does is it visualizes your audio in a bar format, like what you would see on certain videos like Monster Cat's videos, or you've probably seen it on a few streamers' streams before. I'm going to show you guys how to do that one. So once you go ahead and install Spectralizer from the link in the video description below, you're going to open up OBS, you're going to right click, add, and you're going to go to add audio visualizer. Once you go ahead and do that, you can choose the audio source. All right, so we're just going to go ahead and select an audio source here, and you can choose the filter. So the standard filter would be the Monster Cat filter, or you can do the SGS filter. I like just using the standard Monster Cat filter. Works the best. You can change the strength. So the less of the filter you have, the more similar all of the bars are going to be based on their audio, and the farther right you have it, the more they're going to move on their own based on whichever audio channel and level it's going through. So personally, I prefer having it at the full filter strength. Choose your color, you can choose your width, your height, your spacing, all that fun stuff, the fall off, the gravity, everything really easy to use. Go ahead and click OK, and now we're just going to make it visible because I had it invisible, and there you go. One of the ways that I've used it is I've actually gone ahead and duplicated that and flipped it upside down so that it looks like this. So you get a really cool looking visualizer, and you can go ahead and I group them together as one group here, and now you can move it together as one group, and I can just like throw it underneath my webcam if I wanted to. And there you go, pretty nice, pretty simple, really great tool. Another great OBS plugin is Move Transitions, and if you've watched my stream, you've probably seen me use these. And what this does is it allows you to use sources that are similar between two different scenes, and what it does is it animates those into moving. So it makes it look like it's moving from one section of the screen to the other, or moving out of one screen and then moving into the other. You can get really flexible with it. So I'm just going to quickly show you how I utilize it on my stream. So once you have the plugin installed, link in the video description below, you're going to go ahead and you're going to choose it as one of your transitions. So we're going to go to move here, and you can get a duration, and now you can choose the properties. So these are the properties that I have set on my move transition, and this is the way I like using it. And what it does is it kind of like makes everything seem like it's coming from the left hand side, and the reason for that is normally my webcam is on the left hand side. So if I go ahead and do a move transition between these two scenes, it kind of makes it look like my cameras are just coming out from the left hand side, and I really like the way that moves. You can get really fancy with this. You can make it so that if you have a scene that goes to, I don't think this is gonna work. Oh, this is gonna work. So it just kind of makes it look like your sources are moving into each other, instead of just fading or using a stinger and so on and so forth. So I really like using that one. Now, the next plugin is NDI, a very complicated and complex plugin, but if you utilize it properly, it can really open up a lot of things for you. If you guys want a deeper dive onto different ways to use NDI, I can go ahead and do a video about that in the future, but I'm just going to quickly show you the way that I use NDI on my everyday stream. Alright, so one really cool way that you can use NDI is actually using a phone as an extra video source. And what I mean by that is I actually use this as a webcam. So for example, when I did my crazy beard shaving, when I did my charity stream, I pulled up my phone, threw up NDI webcam on, went upstairs and did the whole shaving in an entirely different room than my computer, and I did it all by using this. So I will leave a link in the video description for the NDI camera link app, as well as the plugin itself. And once you get that done, you're going to open up the app on your phone. You're going to click the middle button, make sure that it's red, which means it's recording, or make sure that it's setting video. And what you're going to do is you're going to right click, add, and you're going to do NDI source right here. Once you do that, you're going to go ahead and choose the source name. And as you can see, we've got the source name here, and we've got the source video. So you can get really creative with this. You can put a phone on the other side of the room. You can leave your desk and do this, and it also captures the audio. Really great, really awesome. You can get really unique with this, and I use this a lot of times on stream to show people parts of my desk. So people will go and ask me, oh, you know, what was that really cool temperature thing you had in your video, and I'll go ahead and show it that way. Really awesome, really easy to use, and it's super flexible. Quick disclaimer though, the NDI app on Android was discontinued or taken down from the App Store because they no longer support it, but you can download an APK and use it, and that's the way I've been using it for a couple of years now. So if you end up using a lot of different transitions based on the scenes that you're moving to and the scenes you're moving from, you can use something called the transition matrix. So to get to the transition override matrix after you install it, link in the video description below, go to the tools and you go to transition override matrix. Now from here, what you can do is these are the from and the columns are the destination. It tells you basically here. So, and what you can do is you can actually set a specific transition for that specific scenario. Really awesome if you like using a big complicated transition, for example, from your stream starting to your face cam, for example, right at the beginning of your stream, and then you like using a more simple one like the move transitions throughout your stream later on, and then again maybe your big transition again at the end before moving to your stream ending. Whole bunch of situations you can use this, and it's a really great tool. So the way to utilize this is you just go ahead and right click and you choose whichever transition you want to use. So let's say move, you can do the time, and there you go. So now when I go from glitch console to glitch main, it'll be the move no matter what. As if I only click the transition button here in the middle, that's the one that it'll use. If I end up clicking a quick transition, however, it'll override whatever is here. So keep that in mind. So the next plugin is called shader filters. And what this allows you to do is it allows you to add your own kind of shaders and filters to sources within OBS. Again, this is another really unique and really complex plugin that you can really do a lot of different things with. So I'm just going to show you something very quickly that you can do, and then you can go ahead and play around with it as much as you'd like on your own. As mentioned before, once you get that plugin installed from the link in the video description below, you're going to go ahead and open OBS, and you're going to go and find whichever source or file that you want to go ahead and add a shader to. So in my example, we're going to do my camera here. We're going to go to filters, we're going to go to add, and we're going to go to shader. We'll just call it shader here. Now the nice thing is the plugin comes with a bunch of defaults that you can use. So we're going to go ahead into shaders here. We're going to go to filter, and we're going to do, let's say the drunk effect. So now, as you can see, it adds a really cool effect to my camera, and you can, you know, change it to one of the other ones if you wanted to. We can do scan lines, and it adds like a scan line effect. You can find all kinds of really cool shaders on the creator's Twitch channel. I will leave a link in the video description below for that. And a lot of people go and create their own shaders as well, so feel free. And if you learn how to make your own, you can utilize them. It's really cool, really fun. You can get really creative with this, and you can do a lot of really fun stuff. Just be aware that the shaders do use a little bit more of your hardware, so they do make OBS, you know, chew up a little bit more resources. Now, one that I use a lot, well, I used to use a lot more often before Discord allowed the sharing of screens in the server, is Virtual Cam. What Virtual Cam allows you to do is it allows you to use OBS as a webcam source for other programs. So if you have a webcam plugged into your computer that is not in a device that identifies as a webcam, like the Elgato Camlink 4K, if you have something else, or you do the Sony Alpha method right now, where you're taking a picture or you're taking a section of your screen and basically screen capping that as your webcam, you can utilize this in order to use OBS as your webcam source. And the nice fun thing is, even if you do have your webcam or your camera or whatever already set up as a camera, you can utilize OBS to manipulate that. For example, using the shaders that I just showed you, throwing text on your screen, doing a whole bunch of fun stuff. You can utilize that all. It'll just send whatever is on your OBS page out as if it was going to a stream, but instead it's being sent out as a webcam source for any of the other software to pick up. Now this one's really simple. Once you have it installed from the link in the video description below, you're just going to go up to tools, you're going to go to virtual cam, and you're going to make sure that you start it. You can flip it horizontally, you can make it so that it auto starts as soon as OBS starts, you can make it so that it forces the aspect ratio to stay the same. You can do all those kinds of things, and you can call it, you know, OBS camera 2, 3, 4, whatever you want, and you click start. There you go. Now the next plugin is one that I don't really utilize enough yet, but I plan on utilizing it a lot more going forward, and that one is called Motion Effect. Now Motion Effect is really cool because it allows you to move sources around your screen automatically and create some really cool effects by doing so. As I mentioned, I don't really utilize this myself yet, but the animation on the plugin page really does a good job of visualizing it. So as you can see here, the screenshot animation really shows you how you can utilize Motion Effect to create some really fun and creative ways to move your sources and scenes around and it really adds some spice and can really, you know, add like motion and animation can really just pull a viewer in and create a little bit more of something to grab somebody's eye. So this is a really great way to do it, and very easy to use and very easy to install. Now this next plugin is another one that I don't use very often, but if you've ever seen a streamer who has their controller gamepad on display on their stream, and it shows you whenever they're hitting certain inputs or their keyboard or their mouse or all the kind of things, that is a plugin called Input Overlay. Now, as you can see here, Input Overlay is really awesome. You can customize entirely what keys you want to show, what gamepad you want to use, all that kind of fun stuff. And it's really good if you're a technical player, or you know, your viewers have asked you like, hey, can you like show how like what you're doing on your controller while you're doing certain things. Really good for games like fighting games and things that are, like I said, a little bit more technical. A really great tool, especially if your viewers have asked you if you can add something like this to your stream. And the final plugin that I use is called StreamFX. I don't really use it to its full potential, but I do use it for a very specific purpose, and a purpose that it does incredibly well. So StreamFX is a plugin that allows you to add a lot of new sources, filters, transitions, and stuff to your OBS, but what I use it for is one of its plugins that's called the mirroring effect. What it allows you to do is it allows you to use a singular source multiple times within one scene. Now, if you don't know why that's important, is if you have a webcam, you can't add that webcam multiple times in the same scene if you wanted to do some fun effects to it. But with StreamFX, you're able to do so by using the mirror, and you can do some really fun things. Alright, so I'm going to quickly show you how I use it. So for example, my friend is much better at PUBG than I am. So whenever we would play together, I would end up dying pretty early, and I'd end up having to watch him for a while. So the way that I would let my audience know that I was dead is that I would change my webcam to be kind of transparent to show that I was a ghost. And I didn't want that to apply to my webcam all the time, and I didn't want to have to go into the filters to enable and disable this filter every time I wanted to change between that webcam. So what I did was I ended up using the source mirror. So if we go here and we go and add our webcam, we're gonna put that here. We're gonna say that's our webcam. Now I want to go ahead and add a ghost version of this one. So if I were to add a filter onto the Logic Cam here, it'll always be there, and that's not how I want it to do. I only want it to get used if I enable this ghost mode. So if I go to add and we do source mirror, I already have one set up, but we'll set up another. And you go ahead and choose the source that you want to mirror, and we have that here. So now I can go ahead and apply a filter to just the mirror, and it doesn't affect the original source. So now, like, see, it's a transparent webcam now. So you can do things where, say, you know, I go and put this one here, make it the same size. Ooh. Make it the same size. And now, you know, we're playing the game and I die. So now what I do is I just go ahead and switch. Now I'm in ghost mode, and I didn't have to go and like go into a separate menu to enable and disable a filter. I can do it all on the source, and it's a really good way if you want to put different filters on a singular source, but you want to have quick access to change it in and out. And on one scene, maybe you want the webcam to be normal. On the next scene, you want it to have the filter, and you want to just be able to switch the scene. If you put the filter on the source, when you switch the scene, it's still going to have the filter on it. But if you end up using a source mirror in that scene and you switch, then you can have different mirrors or the original on different scenes, and those filters don't apply to everything. So remember, any filters that you put onto a source will apply no matter what scene you're on, it'll apply across the board throughout all of OBS. So you can use StreamFX's source mirroring to apply specific filters to a source on a specific scene, and it allows you to get a little bit more flexible and get a little bit more creative if you want to as well. The cool thing is you can end up utilizing this with some of the stuff that I had mentioned earlier. For example, if you wanted to add one of those fun shaders onto a specific scene, say you have a drunk scene or whatever, you can go ahead and now on the mirrored source, you can go and play around with that kind of stuff. Let's do the hexagon eyes. There we go. Right? So normally this is what the webcam looks like, but I want to hexagonize it on a specific source or a specific scene, for example. And it allows you to get really creative, and it makes it much easier to switch between these filters than having to go in and right click and filter and turn it off and turn it on and turn it off and so on and so forth. So I do hope you find that useful. And if you do want to look into a deeper dive onto what the other things that this plugin can do, check out the main page. I will leave the link in the video description below. And that's it really. If you guys appreciated the video or you found it helpful by showing you a plugin that you've never used before that you're hopefully going to implement on your own streams or just by using OBS for other projects, consider liking and subscribing, hitting that bell icon, being notified of all my future videos, which I normally release on Fridays. Every once in a while, I'll release a video on Monday if I have the time. They're usually a little bit shorter format, so I try to do those as often as I can. If you have any questions about today's video, feel free to leave a comment in the section below or go ahead and join our Discord. We got tons of people in there that would love to help you with any questions. You can at me directly and I'll try to get to you as quickly as possible. That's usually the easiest way if we're going to have a little bit more of a discussion about a question instead of just something quickly that I can answer. And as always, I stream on Twitch from Friday until Tuesday. Feel free to come check me out, come say hello in the chat. You can ask me questions there as well. I try to answer them as quickly as I can unless I'm in a really intense game of Counter-Strike. And yeah, I will see you guys next Friday.